Save Unit 6, Ergonomic Solutions. In previous units, we talked about ergonomics and safety voice. We learned about the risk factors for strains and sprains. Also, we discussed safety responsibility and using good communication skills. Now let's learn about specific masonry ergonomic solutions to reduce these risk factors. Using ergonomic solutions whenever possible reduces your chance of injuries and can help you stay healthy and active for your entire career. Solutions generally fall into three categories: engineering, administrative, and work practice solutions, but they are not all equally effective. There is a hierarchy of solutions. Engineering solutions are the most effective. Administrative solutions are moderately effective, and work practices are important but less effective. What is an engineering solution? This refers to the use of equipment such as lifts, tools such as cordless saws, and work materials such as pre-blended mortar. Engineering solutions are very effective ways of eliminating or minimizing the risk of injury. Some other engineering solutions you may be familiar with are cranes, mortar silos, and using a pumper truck to fill grout. Look at these pictures. Which do you think is an example of an equipment solution? Record your answer in your workbook. The correct answer is A, mortar mixer, which is material handling equipment. While all of these are examples of engineering solutions, a trowel is a tool, while block is a work material solution. Platforms and lifts are equipment solutions, such as the mast climbing scaffolding shown here. These solutions help keep you working in the green zone between your shoulders and knees. Other examples of platforms and lifts might be a mortar pan stand, a saw table, or a scissors lift. Material handling equipment reduces heavy lifting and awkward postures. Some examples of material handling equipment are boom lifts, wheelbarrows, or a pallet jack. What are some examples of material handling equipment you've used or would like to use on a job site? Well-designed tools are also engineering solutions. They help reduce forceful hand exertion and awkward wrist postures. Examples include trowels with ergonomic handles and power caulking guns. Other tools decrease vibration, such as hammers with fiberglass handles. Also, consider using chisels that have a plastic guard around the head. This protects your hand in case you miss hitting the head with your hammer. What are some examples of ergonomic tools you've used? Some of the materials you handle are considered engineering solutions. Recall that masons can lift up to 19 tons a week of block and 16 tons a week of brick. Lighter weight materials will reduce your exposure to injury from tasks such as lifting over rebar. Materials such as lightweight aggregate or pumice block can save your body by reducing the weight you lift each week. Pumice block weighs only 19 pounds. A block is block with one end knocked out, while H block has both ends knocked out. Did you know that A block and H block both meet the same ASTM standards as commonly used CMU? This type of block can be set around rebar instead of having to reach over it. Did you know that in California, where seismic requirements call for the use of rebar that is 8 inches on center, that almost all block used is H block? New materials such as autoclaved aerated concrete, or AAC, are lighter and larger, meaning fewer blocks to handle. Half-sized pallets are lighter and can be placed on scaffolding, allowing brick to be placed closer to you, reducing manual handling and increasing efficiency. Now let's talk about administrative solutions. These have to do with work procedures. They tend to help manage rather than eliminate hazards. You may not have much control over administrative solutions that reduce your risk of injury. Still, it's important to learn about all types of solutions. Over your career, you might be in a position to have direct input on using these solutions. Administrative solutions can be broken down into job site layout and materials staging, work sequencing and scheduling, and ergonomics or other occupational safety training. Job site layout and materials staging includes pre-planning materials placement to reduce handling, covering used materials to keep them dry, as well as staging materials close to the end use. Work sequencing and scheduling includes coordinating activities among subcontractors and trades to avoid schedule changes and delays. Most injuries happen toward the end of the workday when your muscles are most tired. When possible, it can help to schedule the more demanding tasks early in the day and take regular rest breaks. Stretching before work is a common practice in construction. However, research has not demonstrated that stretching alone prevents injuries. Regardless, warming up before work is good for you. Be sure to include at least 5 minutes of warming movements like jumping jacks, running in place, or squats as part of your morning routine. Regular safety training is also an administrative solution. Regular labor management meetings provide a way to discuss job hazards and brainstorm solutions. Ergonomics training, such as these units, and well-developed apprenticeship training programs provide an excellent foundation for working safely and productively. Now let's test what you've learned. Which is an administrative solution? Record your answer in your workbook. The correct answer is C, taking regular breaks. Using a forklift is an example of an equipment solution to move materials. Your trowel is a tool solution. Both the forklift and trowel are examples of engineering solutions. Work practice solutions and PPE are the third category of ergonomic solutions. These solutions are important because they tend to be ones within your direct control on a daily basis. What do we mean by work practice solutions? There are ways that you can perform everyday work tasks using ergonomic principles. For example, you are using a work practice solution when you adjust the height of scaffolding to keep your work in the green zone between your knees and shoulders. There are work practice solutions for several tasks you do each day, such as transporting materials, cutting brick and block, laying brick and block, housekeeping and maintenance, good body postures, personal protective equipment or PPE. One work practice solution is how you transport materials. You can reduce the stress on your muscles and joints by reducing manual handling. Try to only handle materials when you're on scaffolding instead of on the ground. At ground level, material handling equipment should be used instead. You can also use work practice solutions when you cut brick and block. Whenever possible, cut brick or block using a power saw instead of a hammer. You can also saw or cut using a table saw on a solid surface instead of on the ground. Finally, try to select the appropriate diamond or matrix for the job. Ergonomic work practices can also be used when laying block. Whenever laying 12-inch block, as specified in your contract, use 2-person lift teams. Also, retemper mortar to keep it soft and use as little hand motion as possible when laying mortar. Use a trowel that's comfortable for your hand or one with an ergonomic handle. While it might not seem like a way to prevent sprains and strains, good housekeeping is important for preventing trips and falls resulting in injuries. Maintaining your tools and equipment is also important for minimizing injury risk. Which is an example of a work practice solution? Record the answer in your workbook. The correct answer is A, adjusting the height of the scaffolding. Mortar mixers and lifts are equipment solutions, while ergonomics training is an administrative solution. Another work practice solution is using your body in the safest, most efficient way possible. Neutral postures are safe body postures in the green zone. You should try to shift to neutral, especially when other ergonomic solutions are not practical or available. Let's review a few tips for good body postures. Unlike these new apprentices, don't let your back round forward when lifting. Instead, just like an arch can support a doorway, arch your low back slightly to support your trunk when lifting. Just before you lift, slightly contract your stomach muscles to provide some additional stability and support to your low back. Key point: arch slightly and contract your stomach muscles before lifting. Remember that bending forward for long periods of time can cause your discs to bulge backward and press on your nerves. Since you spend a lot of time bending forward, every once in a while you should put your hands on your hips and bend backwards a few times. Key point: several times a day, do some back bends. Let's try this right now. Everyone stand up. Use a wide base of support to provide stability when moving forward or backward, or use a scissored stance to provide stability when moving from side to side. Key point: wide stances provide stability. Remember, keeping loads close to your body when lifting reduces the stress on your low back. Also, always plan your lifts. Over time and due to our work, we can develop muscle asymmetries. Some muscles become stronger and others weaker, and they don't work together as a team. Research shows asymmetries increase our risk of injury. So use good body postures and ergonomically designed equipment to minimize muscle asymmetries. Now let's talk about PPE. Personal protective equipment is worn on your body to protect you from all types of injuries, not just strains and sprains, but also protection from dust, scrapes, and burns. PPE you should regularly use include hard hats, safety goggles, earplugs, gloves, knee pads, and steel-toed boots. Can you think of other examples? Now let's see if you've been paying attention. In an early video, the Masons were not using the correct PPE. What is wrong here? To summarize, there are many ergonomic solutions that will help keep you safe and minimize the chances of an injury at work. These include engineering, administrative, and work practice solutions. Engineering solutions are most effective, but administrative and work practice solutions are important and should always be included. As an apprentice, you have the most control over your personal tools and equipment. Using good body postures and some work practices, such as raising and lowering scaffolding to keep the work between your knees and shoulders.